All right. Welcome back. Real macroeconomics and investing. Patreon.com. Come on down and subscribe. Don't forget, come on down. All right. Like and subscribe the video after you're done watching it. All right. Welcome back. So I didn't do a video on Friday. One, I was busy. Two, nothing really happened. So did a couple of videos over the weekend, and I'm probably going to be doing more of those. There's just so much to say. Honestly, there's just so much to say, and sometimes I just sit there and I'm like, they're not gonna get it, or like whatever. Just because you kind of get like that after a while. I've been doing this now for what, since 2010, and I know that in a bull market it's so easy just to be a bull and everything is great, and then in a bear market when it's doing the complete opposite, it's people are not going to listen because they like price. Price to them is everything. But price is just an advertising mechanism, and I'll keep saying that. And one day you're gonna think back on what I've been saying. You'll be like, "Damn, that Greek guy was right." All right. So equal weighted S&P structure below the structure. It did break to a new high from this point here. All right. So now it's a structure below a structure. Uh, it can do this now. Okay. It can correct through time. And that would be bullish for the next move up. Okay, anything above this trend line is bullish because we are in a one, two, we're in a three, we're in a wave three. All right. Now here's the problem that a lot of guys are gonna look at this and they're gonna come up with all kind of determinations and so forth. But no matter how you slice this, like this, no matter where price goes, it ends up being bearish. It has to correct at some point. You don't want the wave three. I mean, you can trade it, obviously. That's okay. But what I'm saying is that what you want, ideally, especially for 401ks, ideally what you want is you want this whole thing to correct. At some point it will. You want this to correct. Once it corrects and it comes down, and then what you're going to do is what I'm going to tell you to do actually is to say, okay, well, let's say it's here. I'll say, okay, well, go back in time. There you go. This is 2018. The high back then was whatever it is. Okay. Did you miss out on anything? That's going to be my question. Did you miss out on anything? No, just the volatility, just the risk, because you never know when this is going to turn, right? Nobody ever knows. You don't. There's no way for you to know. Um, so uh, don't be in a rush. Don't you know? Be chilled. Learn how to be chilled. All right. So structure below structure. Um, is it going to correct through time or price? We don't know. And this one is best because it's equal weighted, right? That means that every single stock is equally weighted, right? It's equally, all right, I think you know what weighted means. Dividend S&P, rising F flag, okay? Rising F flags have a tendency to stay longer in that channel, okay? But again, they do ultimately correct. But again, you have a lower high on dividend weighted as opposed to equal weighted. VIX, nice little pop. Again, it's going to maintain this area for now. Okay. Um, it's for a bull market, if you go back in time, just so we understand each other. In the bull market, anything above 12, 15, it can go as much as 20 sometimes. That's a healthy bull market. All right. Eventually, you're going to get spikes above it. You're going to sudden spikes. Those are all buying opportunities when they do that. Okay. When you get these spikes here, right? Some stupid news comes out. And, you're going back now in time, right? So you get these spikes. These are buying opportunities. When you are elevated like this is dangerous. because eventually this is either going to resolve to the downside or do one of these jobs. All right. So there's a certain amount of fear in the market. They're protecting themselves, but they're buying. All right. So they're buying those options. Just be aware of that. All right. New York Stock Exchange, little pullback. Dow Jones pulling back today, and not only pulling back. Let me fix this, but it's breaking. All right. It's breaking through time. It's breaking through time. So if you're a bull, you want this to go incredibly bullish, but it's breaking down. S&P, I try to pop out, and this was gray, and the reason it was gray was because it hasn't hooked yet, right? It's got to hook in order for us to make that a valid point. And if it does end up being a valid point, then you're going to end up like this. 1, 2, 3. Okay, but it's got to hook. It's got to come down sufficiently where you can say, all right, this is a hook. This is a valid point. Now um, I can validate the upper trend line and see what the structure is. All right. Clearly, there's a support area right in there. If that starts to break, the hook is probably going to come, and this whole structure becomes valid. Nasdaq. Okay, we had the 1, 2, 3 up. Valid. Everything is cool. Okay. Hitting this longer term resistance area. So it's doing a little grind up, right? You get these little spikes, and it comes down. Spikes, comes down. Spike, comes down. Right? So it's doing this little spike. Now, it's either going to go incredibly bullish or start to correct. Right? The likelihood is it's going to correct at some point. The question is going to be, is it going to how deep is it going to correct? Is it going to break the structure? Because this is a fully formed structure. 1, 2, 3. And price has remained within the channel. Okay. Broke the previous highs, doing it, grinding, right? In that manner. So what we're looking now in here is a wave within a wave, right? So you have the 1 wave, the 2 wave, the 3 wave, then it dropped, and then it started to wave back up. And then to validate it for the 1, 2, 3 down, you need this to start breaking. It's not there yet. Small caps, same thing, rising wedge, pushing up against that resistance. All right. Transportation is lower high, so that's not good. The fangs are not really pushing higher. Came up right against this resistance area. The head and shoulder is still in play. Okay, still in play. It can actually come all the way to the top, head test, and then fail. All right. But for now, it's still hanging out there. Let me bring this out to see where the point of control is. Hasn't changed much. All right, 4,500, still the point of control. European stocks are actually pushing higher, and they're doing a pretty good job. Very steep, though. Very steep. The whole structure is very steep. And when it's steep like this, all that it's trying to do is provoke emotion. All right. So I never trust these kind of moves. I always wait for them to correct, get boring, and then make my decision based on what the evidence is showing. UK popped out. Okay, again, this is a gray. It hasn't hooked yet. All right. Broke the previous high, coming back down, struggling here a little bit. Okay, but it is a wave 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. So we'll put this support area in here. Denmark, still in a rising F flag. World stock market index continues to push higher. That's good. Airlines. All right, airlines. Airlines have been starting to taper off again in terms of passengers, obviously because of what's going on. I think this will probably start to break down. Of course, it has to break down the trend line, okay? But I think this is starting to get tired. It broke the previous high, so that's good, right? In terms of a 1, 2, 3 up, all right. So it's valid. It's a valid 1, 2, 3 up. But let's say it ends here. Well, then you'll end up with something like this: a rising wedge, and that's a bearish structure. Okay. 1, 2, 3, pointing up. So that means the next move is going to be down. I'll make this gray. My little indicator of Hilton, Diana Shipping, uh, what is it, Avis, Delta Airlines, Royal Caribbean, and Sacos Energy is starting to weaken. Okay, starting to weaken. So that supports that theory, right? That I was just telling you that the airlines are starting to get a little bit tired. You're going to see that a lot of these charts, they're in a wave 3, right? So let's see how this is going to work out. China, pulling back a little bit, bull flag. I should probably draw it in there. Little bull flag, okay. So it's trying to push higher, but if it doesn't, well, this structure will probably start to correct because it's going to break the longer term channel right here. All right. So then this will go. This will start to go, build some kind of pressure, and then that would go. All right. This is the fangs of China. They're not doing much. They should be popping here soon, but not yet. Nifty 50 continues to plow higher. Very excited about the vaccine news. Japan is pulling back within the channel. Taiwan continues to kick ass. Korea is kicking ass. Saudi Arabia, a little bit of a pullback, but it's breaking now. Okay, it's breaking the structure here. So we'll keep an eye on that. Australia, structure below a structure, still holding. Brazil continues to push higher. And remember, weak dollar, good emerging markets, right? But it's again in a wave 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Emerging markets are breaking out. All right. Again, weak dollar, good for emerging markets. All right. Pushing very high, very good. All right. Germany is starting to weaken. Starting to break down. BRICS holding up strong. Real estate broke out, not doing a very good job. So remember, what's it trying to do? Break out. How good of a job is it doing? Not very. Financials are starting to break down. Structure below structure breaking down. Okay. Oil. Got a bull little flag here. Broke out. We don't want this to come much further back. But for right now, weak dollar, strong, oil, it's okay. But let's see how this is going to play out. Gold. Look at that, baby. Told you. Told you. It's just a bullshit move, right, to the downside. So up 1.2% for today. That's good. Skip. Well, you know what? It's such a nice little setup. Silver. Look at that. That's a beaut. It's fucking beautiful. Dude, It's fucking beautiful. Look at that fucking setup. Commodities building a nice little bull flag. All right. Look for that to push higher. Commodities. Try to push a little bit higher. Did make a new high, recent high. Pulled back into structure. Precious metals are pushing up very nicely. And remember, we had this in here for a while, right? As long as the structure that's valid, 1, 2, 3, it's valid, pointing down, this is the hook. Okay? Now we should start seeing precious metals to push higher. Makes sense with the dollar weak. Base metals continue to perform okay. Steel kicking ass all over the place. We've been waiting for palladium to correct a little bit. Broke, popped back in. It's difficult for it to break down when everything else is booming. Copper is kicking ass. Agriculture is lagging a little bit, but it did break above. All right, let's see how deep this is. Sugarcane about to break down. Corn broke down a little bit. Okay, we've been waiting for these things to break. Wheat went a little deeper than I expected. Okay, that's fine. Let me come right back. I'll be right back.